Very good morning, students. So today we are starting with our next animal, which is called as TAENIA solium. So can you give me the common name of this animal? Okay, so the common name is the pork tapeworm. So do you know what is pork? So pork is the pig's meat. So the infestation of this worm is through the meat of the pig. So if somebody eats an uncooked kind of meat of a pig, so it can infest or it can go for the TAENIasis. So it is commonly found in the pig, or the intermediate host of this animal is the pig, so that's why it is commonly known as the pork tapeworm. Now, talking something about the hosts of this animal. So the primary host of this TAENIA solium is the man, and the secondary host is the pig. Now secondary host can be a goat, it can be a dog, it can be a sheep, or it can be a buffalo, or it may be a cow. So the animals which are performing grazing, who are herbivores, they can be the secondary host to this particular parasite. Now if we are talking about parasites, specifically saying it is an endoparasite. So endoparasite is an animal which is living inside the host. So as TAENIA solium is living inside our intestine, so it can be in your intestine. So that's why it is an endoparasite to the man. Now, we had talked about the hosts of this animal as man and pig. So man is the primary host here and pig is the secondary host. So what is the difference between the primary and secondary hosts? Do you know? Now the main difference is that the primary host, it involves the adult phase of the animal. So the adult TAENIA solium is found in the man, and in the intermediate host it can be some larval stages. So we have the TAENIA solium in our intestine, so we are the primary host, and it completes its life cycle in the pig, so that's why the pig is the secondary host. So now, after the location of this parasite, it is in the small intestine of man, and there are two major things that are present in TAENIA solium. First are the suckers. So in TAENIA solium we have 4 suckers, and where are they present? I'll be talking about it later. So second major thing is the presence of hooks. So there are numerous hooks, there are number of hooks on the front part of this animal which are helping in anchorage into the intestine. So suckers and hooks, they are helping in the attachment of this worm in the intestine of man. Okay, now after this, now we should go with the external morphology. Now first of all, we should talk about the size of this animal. So it may be 1 to 5 meters long. So it is quite huge. So just suppose one TAENIA solium, which is 5 meters long, is present in your intestine and is taking your food. So what will be the condition of that particular host or the human? So it is quite long, it's 5 meters long, it is generally opaque, or white, so it is whitish in color. It may be creamish or yellowish also. So it is ribbon like. This is a very important feature in Taenia solium. It is ribbon like, so it is dorso-ventrally flattened. So as we have discussed earlier in the general class, introductory class of invertebrates, that Taenia solium and Fasciola hepatica, they are the flatworms, so they are dorso-ventrally flattened. So body is narrow at the anterior end, narrow at. So what we have at the anterior end is the scolex. So this part is very comparable to the head of an animal. So here it is not known as head, it is called as scolex. So now, as we proceed backwards, the body is broadening. So it is tapering from the anterior side and it is broad from the posterior side. Okay, now if we talk about the whole body of this Taenia solium, the body can be divided into three parts. Number one, so first I have mentioned earlier, it is the scolex or the head. So we should not write it as head, we should write it as scolex. Number two, it is the neck. Now this is a single segmented body part which is present behind the scolex. Scolex is a round structure and neck is a rectangular structure. And third is the strobilla. So body can be divided into three parts: scolex, neck and strobilla. So strobilla is the whole 5-meter long body of this animal, and this strobilla has got many segments. Scolex is a round head, neck is a single segmented rectangular structure, and the whole strobilla is composed of many segments, and a single segment is called as proglottid. So proglottid is a single segment. So we can say that strobilla is composed of a number of proglottids. But here one thing is to be mentioned, that is the segmentation is not true kind of segmentation. So the metameric segmentation is absent in this case. So here you can see the segments from the outside, but from inside all the segments are connected together. So that's why the segments or the segmentation is not true. Now something about the scolex. First of all, now scolex, first of all, it is a knob-like structure. It is round. It is having 4 suckers, and it is having hooks, and these hooks are present in 2 rows. I'll be talking about the structure of the scolex later on. So first of all, theoretically you should know that there are 4 suckers present on this scolex, and there are present 2 rows of hooks. Now this scolex overall, it is near about 1 millimeter wide, and the hooks which are present on this scolex, they are arranged like spoons in a plate, and this knob-like structure has got a plate over it which is called as the rostallum, and this rostallum, it has the hooks arranged on it. So overall the scolex is round. It has got 4 suckers. It has got a rostallum, which is a plate over it on the anterior side, and this plate or the rostallum has got 2 layers of hooks, 2 rows of hooks. And one thing is to be mentioned, that the hooks of the anterior layer, they are larger, and the hooks of the posterior layer are smaller. So all the hooks, they are used to bind to the intestine. So these hooks, they help in the anchorage of Taenia solium into the intestine of the man. Now after this, something about the neck. Now neck is the most important part of Taenia solium wherever the process of reproduction is concerned, or process of growth is concerned. So it is a single segment, it is rectangular, and it is having no segment, so it is unsegmented. And the major property of neck is that it can divide, or it can proliferate. So it can make other segments, so it can divide to form new segments. So it is also called as the area of growth. So the neck is also called as the area of growth, or area of proliferation, or area of segmentation, area of division. So what the segment, this particular segment is doing, that is, it is dividing into 2. Then one segment, it is going towards the posterior end. New segments are added up from the neck, and that's how this worm is keeps on growing up to 5 meters length. So after segmentation, after few days or months, it attains its size, which is the 5 meters. So this size attainment is only due to the neck, or the division of the neck, because the neck is forming new segments. Now if we take this worm and suppose this is the head, number 4 is the scolex. So where can you find the most recent newly formed segments? On this side, or they are on this side? I think the new segments are found near the scolex or the neck. So if number 4 is the scolex, this is the neck, so this will be the first segment, newly formed segment, and at this part on the posterior side we have the old proglottids. So the whole body of the Taenia can be divided into 3 parts: the scolex, neck, and strobilla. We had talked about the scolex, now we were talking about the neck, and now we should talk about the third part, the strobilla. Now this strobilla, it is having numerous segments which are called as proglottids, and these proglottids, they are again divided into 3 subtypes. The first subtype is immatures. Immature proglottids are the newly formed proglottids. These are very close to number 4 or the scolex. So So these are not mature, that means they are not having ovaries or testes. So they are lacking the reproductive organs, so that why they are sexually immature. So anterior 200 segments near to the neck, they are immatures. Second subtype is the mature proglottids. So these mature proglottids, they are again divided into two types. Number one, these will be male mature, and the second type is hermaphrodite mature. So what happens, have you heard of a particular phenomenon which is called as so it is called as protandry. So protandry refers to the formation of the male genitals first. So proto here refers to first and andry refers to the male reproductive organs. So if you are having male reproductive organs developed first than the ovaries, then you can have testes first and then ovaries afterwards. So here the mature segments will form the testes first, so that's why they are male mature, and whole of the mature segments, they are around about 415 number, and the male matures can be like 150. Anterior segments will be male mature, they are only having testes, and after that they will develop the ovaries, and the last near about 300 segments, they will be hermaphrodite mature. Hermaphrodite refers to both male and female organs. So here you should be very clear that the first type was immatures, they are not having any kind of reproductive organs. Then we have mature are 415 number, out of which 150 are male only, they are having only testes, because testes they develop first, and then 300 they developed ovaries and testes together, so they are hermaphrodite mature. So the total number will be 450. Now first type was immature, second type was mature. Now we have the third type, which is called as gravid proglottids. So gravid proglottids are the old proglottids. So these proglottids, they are near about 300 in number. So the last segments of the body will be having the gravid proglottids, and these are only having one thing in them, it is the uterus. So gravid proglottids, they contain uterus, which is branched. So they are having branched uterus, and it is full of capsules. This uterus is full of capsules. So you should keep in mind that old proglottids, they have got capsules. So that was about the body of the TAENIA solium, the Strobilla. So Strobilla was the third part. First part was the scolex, second part was the neck, and third part was the strobilla. and Strobilla had 3 types of segments: immature, mature and gravids. So that was about the morphology of the TAENIA solium. So that was all about in this class. So we'll be taking up the physiology of TAENIA solium in the next classes. Okay. Thank you.